Hey everybody, this is Bo back in the lounge. Want to do a shout out to the 1.5 million listeners who keep sending us text and email message about guests to have. And we're going to go out to Colgate University, talk to head football coach Dick Biddle. Sir, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and we're looking forward to this season. We opened up last week with a victory over Monmouth, and an exciting game. And since I've been here, that's only the fourth opening game that we won, so it was pretty exciting. I think our kids played very well.
Coach, in your tenure at that program, you've had so many on-the-field success stories, first ever into a playoff system. You've got academic All-Americans. I mean, have you had a chance to sit back and look at your accomplishments yet? I mean, you've got quite a bit on that wall now.
Well, I mean, I've been here a long time, so the longer you are at a place, the more chances, if you have a good program, that you can accomplish things and get your program settled. When I took over, or when we took over after the 95 season, Colgate had just gone 0-11, and it was in the midst of a 16-game losing season. And we were fortunate enough to recruit a pretty good class and have a winning season that first season. I think it was the only third time in college football history that some team had gone from 0-11 to a winning season. So that kind of got the ball rolling, and we've been able to recruit some very good student athletes. Colgate's a great school academically, which has a great football tradition that we, recruit upon, and it was, just had the matter of getting the right players here. And I think what we have to offer is, unlike a lot of schools, you can get a first-rate education as good as any in the country, but you can also play top-flight football and, go to the national playoffs, go to the NFL, and do things like that. So we give you the best of both worlds, and there are a lot of schools out there that, maybe won't give you the type of education you're going to get at Colgate, but they may play a high level of football, or they may not play a high level of football, but give you a great education. So we're one of the few schools that gives you the best of both worlds, and we are able to play for a championship, play in the NCAA playoff, and that appeals to a lot of competitive players. And we've been able to play in the national playoffs 6 times since we've been here, which is like going to a bowl game 6 years. And in 2003, we played for a national championship, which is quite unusual for a school that does not give athletic scholarships. So it's quite a place and has quite a reputation, and we've been able to recruit people that fit that need. And a lot of our guys, they don't, after they graduate, they go on to careers, in business or and whatever field they want, and they're very successful, and they're always a part of a program. We've had a number of players that have been All-American football players, but also have been academic All-Americans. So it's quite an unusual place, and it's one of the few schools in the country that does that. And I don't know if people realize we're only 2,800 students, and it's not an extremely large school to play Division I football and to go to the playoffs. So it's quite a unique thing, and I've been fortunate enough to have a good coaching staff, and we've been fortunate enough to have great players, and we've had one Walter Payton Award winner here in our tenure, and that's like winning the Heisman for 1AA football, and it's just quite a place, and we've been fortunate enough, as I said, to have some great players here. And I think great players make good coaches.
Absolutely, Coach. And with that, Coach, the typical athlete that comes to your program is not going to do something stupid on the field that we all saw, I think, to nauseum this past weekend. Your students that usually come for different goals than just playing football. And when they show up on the football field, there's a little more passion behind what they do, because a lot of them realize this is their one shot at glory. And they're going to make sure and play as hard as they can, not for a contract, not for the big bucks, but for love of the game. And when you look at your program, you definitely instill that ideology in your student athlete. I mean, the success you've had and the type of setup you have is to us here in the lounge, very impressive, Coach.
Well, I think, we got a lot of kids here that, that may not receive financial aid to come here, that, that they just get into school, that are paying a lot of money. But they come out for the football program, and I think when you do that, you have players that are playing because, not because they have to, but because they love to play, and they love to compete, and they love to play against good competition, and I think that speaks volumes of what you're looking for, and that's what we have. The other thing here is that, at Colgate, you're just another student that happens to play football, like any other student, so, you have the same courses you have to take. You have the same requirements you have to take. I mean, once you get off of practice, you're up on the hill. You're just a regular student that happens to practice at 4:30 to 6:30, like other kids may play pickup basketball or whatever, and you have the same expectations. our players, they don't live in an athletic dorm. They're intermixed all over campus. They live with the other students. They interact with the other students, and they do a lot of things with the other students. So people know who they are, and it's kind of neat that you can go to a class or somebody here, but then Saturday you can go watch them play, playing a football game. But the next day you're going to see them in class. They're not hidden all over the place, and don't have, as I said, athletic dorms or training table or whatever. They just happen to be students that they're pretty good football players that happen to go to a good school. And I think we've been very fortunate that our graduation rate is up there. I think we're around 90%, and our kids have to graduate in 4 years. We don't redshirt. Only in a medical situation, so we only have them for 4 years, and after that the kids go on it, and they hopefully are successful and go into careers, business, medicine, law school, med school, or whatever, and they're great kids to be around. I mean, they just I think the thing is most of them have a passion for playing for football, and they'll come out and they'll do whatever you ask them to do, and they always play hard, and they'll always compete, and I said they play because they love to play football.
Absolutely, Coach. Now, Coach, on a side note for like game notes, how much time over the years have you dedicated to video work once a game's over on a win side? It seems like coaches tend to study film on a win more so than a loss, because I'm not sure if it's painful or not. But I imagine all the years that you've had and the success you've had, you spent a lot of time breaking down game footage and have it among the coaches. But how much time do you really get a chance on after the game, or do you get a chance to just deprogram and look at the accomplishment for that following day?
I mean, we play usually Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, and what we'll do as a staff, our players are off Sunday. There's only a certain amount of hours that they can spend on football, and they're off our Sunday, and we as coaches come in around noon and look at the previous game and then get that all done, and then start working on your opponent. But we just try to keep it consistent. I think the key is you want to win or lose, but you approach it the same way. How you're going to work or whatever, that you don't overreact if you lose and do something you're not that you shouldn't do, or in the same way if you win. I mean, you have to be consistent with way you break it down and spend the same amount of time, and I think the longer you're at a place, the more established you get into that. And the longer you're there, you understand. You don't feel good when you come in on Sunday when you lose, but you got to get through it and get ready for practice on Monday. And the same thing with you win. So we try to put things as far as the previous game to rest, Sunday evening, and then show the kids the tape on Monday. And then on Monday's practice, we start working on the opponent. But I think the thing is you have to have a routine, and we have a routine of how we do it. And we put the previous game behind us on, Monday morning, and start getting ready for the opponent. And we do that at whether we win or lose. And I think that's important that you are consistent.
Coach,
doing that, and we practice at the same time, and we do things consistently that helps you get through the tough losses or the wins. But I think you got to keep it in proper perspective, and we don't put any more time or any less time than any other coach does. All coaches put in a lot of time, work hard on tape or whatever, and to get their players ready to play. And we're no different than anybody else. But I think the key really is to be consistent in what you do and not change, because that lets the players know that maybe you're panicking or whatever.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time for us today. We do appreciate. You're one of the guys we want to follow this season, not only on the field but off the field. As you said, your students are some of the best leaders on campus, and that's so important to what we do here. So thanks a lot for taking the time with us.
All right, it was good talking to you. Take care.
You too. Dick Biddle from Colgate University. He's got an impressive program and impressive tenure at that university. He's one of the good guys we're going to follow this season. Take care, Coach.